If nothing is wrong, then why do I feel like this? That's the question that confuses so many people right now, because you can be in something that looks stable and calm, even healthy, and still feel unsettled inside. And when that happens, your mind immediately starts to solve or tries to solve the problem. You look for a reason, you replay conversations, you analyze tone, you look for something that explains the feeling. But what if the feeling you're trying to solve isn't coming from what's happening right now? What if it's coming from how your nervous system has learned to respond over time? Because here's what most people don't realize. Your reactions in the present aren't just about the present moment. They're shaped by what your nervous system has experienced before. So even when something is different now, your mind doesn't respond to what's in front of you. It responds to what it recognizes. And recognition isn't always accurate. It's familiar. So if something small happens, a delay in a message, a slight change in tone, a moment where you don't feel fully connected, and your nervous system doesn't just see that moment, it attaches meaning to it. It fills in the gaps. It tries to protect you from something that hasn't actually happened. And that's when everything starts to feel bigger than it is. You don't just feel a little unsettled, you feel anxious. You don't just notice a change, you start questioning everything. And then you find yourself in this loop where part of you knows you might be overthinking, but another part of you feels you can't ignore it. And this is where people get stuck, because you start trying to fix the feeling by changing what's inside of you. You want clarity, reassurance, consistency. You want something to confirm that you're safe. But the problem is, when your nervous system doesn't feel safe internally, nothing external feels like enough. You might feel better for a moment, but it doesn't last, because the feeling wasn't created by a situation alone. It was created by how your nervous system interpreted it. And that interpretation happens automatically. It happens before you've even had a chance to think about it. That's why telling yourself to calm down doesn't work. That's why trying to think logically doesn't fully settle it, because this isn't just a thinking pattern, it's a learned response. So the shift isn't about stopping the feeling, it's about recognizing it earlier. It's about noticing the moment your nervous system starts attaching meaning to something small, the moment your thoughts begin to speed up, the moment your emotions begin to shift, because that's the point where everything is still flexible. That's the point where you have influence. If you miss that moment, you end up reacting from it. If you catch it, that moment, you can respond differently. And responding differently doesn't mean ignoring how you feel. It means understanding what your nervous system is doing. It means recognizing that just because something feels intense doesn't mean it's accurate. And that's a very different way of relating to yourself. Instead of believing every thought, you start observing it. Instead of reacting to every feeling, you start grounding yourself in it. Instead of needing something outside of you to change, you start stabilizing what's happening within you. And that's where your self-relationship begins to shift, because your self-relationship isn't just how you think about yourself, it's how you respond to yourself in moments like this. When something feels off, do you immediately follow it? Or do you pause and understand it? That pause is where everything changes, because the more you build that awareness, the less you get pulled into the same patterns. You still feel things, of course you do. You still notice changes, but you're not led by them in the same way. You're not trying to solve everything instantly. You're not assuming the worst. You're not reacting before you've understood what's actually happening. And from that place, your relationship starts to feel different, not because the other person has changed, but because you're no longer responding from a place of internal uncertainty. You're responding from clarity. And clarity feels different. It feels calmer, more grounded, and less urgent. And that's what most people are actually looking for. Not constant reassurance, not perfect behavior, but a sense of internal steadiness that doesn't disappear every time something shifts. So if you recognize yourself in this, don't try to shut it down or force it to stop. Start by noticing it earlier. Start by understanding what your nervous system is doing. Because when you understand your patterns, you stop being controlled by them. And when you stop being controlled by them, you start choosing how you show up. And that's where things really begin to change. If this resonates, my book, Fix Me, is linked below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video.